Copper Rock. Certainly tag you guys if you have any social media presence. I don't know if you do or not. But anyway, good afternoon. My name's Ken Tracy, and I do a morning show called Coffee with Ken. I was out today at one of my favorite coffee shops named Copper Rock here in downtown Appleton, Wisconsin. And there was two young ladies sitting behind me while I was doing my work. And I got to talking to them, and I hope the volume's working on this, but I got to talking to them, and they apparently are here trying to raise awareness for a very good cause that they work for by the name of Harbor House. It turns out today is Giving Tuesday. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And Giving Tuesday, I'm sorry, this is Jen and this is Valerie, right? And they're two lovely young ladies that agreed to join me today and spread the word on their cause a little bit, and explained to me earlier that Giving Tuesday is a way for nonprofits to raise money, right? For their charities. And again, they work for Harbor House, and without further ado, again, we're sitting in a coffee shop, so we're going to get some noise from time to time, and I will encourage both Valerie and Jen to speak up if need be, but I appreciate you for tuning in, again, here to spread awareness for a great cause. Valerie and Jen, could you tell me a little bit about Harbor House and the cause and what you guys are all about in a nutshell? Jen, would you like to start?
Sure. So Harbor House has been around for 40 years, started in 1984 in a small home in Appleton. It was very secretive back then. We always accepted everyone, but it was not known for that. So it just continued to grow, and now we cover Calumet and Outagamie County. Currently, we have a 68-bed shelter. We look at going out into the community. We look at education. We look at just how all the ways that we can help. We are open 24/7. We look to have groups in-house as well. Anyone can join us. So it's just really focusing on domestic and sexual violence. If someone is fleeing, we encourage them to call or come as a walk-in to Harbor House to see how we can help.
Okay. Jen, you mentioned earlier you'd worked for Harbor House for some time.
Just almost 2 years now.
2 years, and Valerie, you're new?
I'm new. I've been with Harbor House about a month and a half, maybe.
Okay. And a month and a half, have you worked for charitable, have you volunteered, or I don't know if you're volunteering or you're paid, and that's not really relevant here, but I'm wondering if working for good causes is a passion of yours, or is it a new thing, or what brought you to Harbor House in the first place?
Thank you, Ken. I really appreciate that question. I've worked in development, grants management, nonprofit, probably for the last 15 or 20 years.
And if you could just speak up for the camera, just because we
Sure.
have some noise as much as possible.
Yes. What really drew me to Harbor House was the fact that they are the only 24-hour crisis and 24-hour, 365-day-a-year shelter in the Fox Valley, serving families, men and women. And the mission of Harbor House is to advocate for the individual and meet them where they're at, provide them with informed choice, and really I think that's the greatest mission that Harbor House has, providing advocacy, education for those fleeing, for those in crisis, and then outreach for people, community members in the greater Fox Valley area.
So Jen, we were talking about, so it's not, I don't want to say just a homeless shelter, but is it targeting battered and abused women or kids, or what is your, I don't know if there is a target, but is it, because we were talking, we're in Appleton, Wisconsin. It's a very north state for anybody around the world that's watching. We get cold weather, and it's amazing. When I walk to the gym or walk around town, we do see a lot of surprising number of homeless people on the streets. And I'm wondering, is this cause primarily, was it originally started for battered women or domestic violence or families, or?
So it was really for domestic violence. It is very undereducated for domestic violence. Everywhere, really. There's domestic violence in intimate partner relationships. There's domestic violence with children and families, and you have the generational cycle. So it really was for domestic and now sexual violence. We focus on that as well. Although we understand that there is a high number of homelessness also in the Appleton area, we work very closely with other organizations that really focus on homelessness. So if someone is not fleeing from sexual or domestic violence, we will give them resources and we will work with them to help best provide another option for them if it is just homelessness. But our goal is to focus on domestic and sexual violence individuals who are fleeing or have been displaced or homeless because of domestic or sexual violence.
You mentioned the homelessness thing. You and I, before we went on camera, we're talking about some of my own struggles, and you'd mentioned a resource in Green Bay about a parking lot where homeless people can park their cars and have a place to, at least they can park their cars for the night. So I think that's great. Kind of curious though, do you do screening, or do you let everybody in? Is there drug screening? Is there a questionnaire that is, if I'm a young woman with 2 kids, do I get screened if I knock on your door and it's cold outside, or do you have a place for me?
So we will not guarantee shelter over the phone. We will have you come in for a walk-in and you do meet with someone. Let us know the circumstance and we will talk with you. We talk and you know, we want to know the situation. We want to know what you're going through, what's occurred, and really how we can help. Not everyone's looking for shelter. Some people are just looking for resources. And so we just really work with the individual and to see how we can help. But we allow them to make that decision. You know, we might have our feelings of wanting them to just stay with us, right? And just giving them that great big hug and wanting them to stay. But it's still their decision. So however, you know, they want to move forward, we allow them to make that decision, and we do our best to educate them. We do know that every time a woman goes back to a relationship that is violent, you do have the chance that it can become even more violent and lead to murder. So it's the it's the cycle of abuse when a person leaves, and average is 7 times that a person will leave and go back to a relationship, and potentially it can become more and more dangerous. But again, we understand that the choice isn't always to leave, and so a safety plan is really important, and just educating where we can. Or we do not allow drugs or alcohol in our facility at all. That is a very hard line because we know that there are people in sobriety, and we do have very strict rules when it comes to that. So that is something we have to be very careful of. And we do have, you know, room checks we will do to make sure that it is a safe place for everyone. Children do have to stay with a parent because we are not a licensed child care facility.
When you say stay with the parent, do you have, like, in your house, are there bunk beds? Are there individual rooms? When you say stay with the parents, I'm a a young woman with 2 kids, and I'm going through a bad situation at home. I come to your, what do I expect? I bring my kids with me?
Yes, you can bring your children with. We have family rooms.
Okay.
And in a family room, let's say you had 3 teenagers and an adult, we would have that family room with 4 beds, right? 4 single beds in one room, and typically you would have your own bathroom. We do have some shared rooms that it could be 2 single individuals, but you might have to share a bathroom space.
Okay.
So there's all different types of room, but we definitely still want to keep security. So you will have where their bedroom area will always be locked. If there is a shared space of a bathroom, you still will have a locked bedroom area for each individual. But as a family, you do all stay in one room, but we do have a fire code we have to honor, so we can't put more than allowed in each room for beds. So we are very much adhered to that code, but we do what we can to help every person. We've created some flex rooms, which means if they're single individuals, we've created some spaces throughout the community to add more individuals. Our capacity is 68, but through the last couple of months, we've been about 84, 78, kind of all over with individuals staying with us.
So you can go past capacity?
Yes.
Okay, and all right. One of the viewers asked, is Harbor House a halfway house? And I'm not, to be honest, that familiar with what that term even
Sure.
means. Maybe you are, maybe you want to address that, or I don't even know honestly
Sure.
what a halfway house is. Do either of you have any thoughts?
So a halfway house to me is like sober living.
Okay,
And if they aren't fleeing from sexual domestic violence, it wouldn't be considered a place for them. And it's not a long-term stay. So
Okay.
Harbor House is really to help an individual if they're starting from ground zero. And what do they need? Do they need job security? Do they need to figure out food? Do they need to figure out housing? What are their steps so they can be reliant on themselves and to provide for their family? So it's really just a stepping stone for individuals to move forward in a healthy life and a healthy lifestyle. While they're there, they get paired with an advocate to work very closely with a one-on-one relationship, because no one likes to retell their story multiple times to someone. So they get to build that relationship with one person. And that way they know what their needs are and can also get other resources in the community through that one advocate to assist them with further needs.
so are these advocates like counselors, or are you guys counselors? What is your background, if you don't mind me asking? What's your background, Jen?
Actually, I came from the manufacturing world, but I've always loved nonprofit.
Okay.
So I kind of did a transitional switch. I was in assisted living for a little while, and then transitioned here to Harbor House, and it's educated me so much as well in domestic and sexual violence. So it's something I'm very passionate about, and we are not licensed counselors or we are not attorneys. That's something we talk about. We do pair with Reach Counseling, so we can set them up with a counselor. And we do work with different legal resources as well that we can also help people. But
Okay.
we're not counselors or attorneys. So again, an advocate is really someone that supports them and helps them find additional resources if needed. But we try to educate them in all areas of domestic and sexual violence that we can.
Okay. Valerie, again, where was I going? Oh, what's your background, if you don't mind me asking? Valerie's new to Harbor House. She's been working there, a month and a half, you said. If you don't mind sharing a little bit about your background. Jen said she's from manufacturing and has done some other things. Do you mind sharing?
Sure. Yeah, I've worked in nonprofit in some capacity for the past 15 to 20 years, I think. That's really where my heart is. My background is in development, fundraising, and I've also kind of gotten into the accounting and the grant management part of the nonprofit.
I'm just taking a look at this. So this is Harbor House right here? Okay, I don't know if you guys can see here. To be honest, I was picturing Harbor House to be a house. And this looks larger than I
Yes.
imagined, and very, a very safe, comfortable place, I think, to go. If a woman's in some trouble, so it's a short-term place for a woman or a woman with kids to go, if I may. I know I don't hate to men as well. I hate to generalize, but if I may, say a woman's having, and again, it's weird around the holidays. We all think the holidays are Merry Christmas and Happy Thanksgiving, but I know that holidays are some of the toughest times for people going through struggles. But if a woman is having a particularly horrible day today, and she feels herself or her children might be in danger, what is your opportunity? I don't know, the first step, does she call you guys? Does she reach out via phone? Does she knock on your door? What's the best way for a woman that might be watching this somewhere in the greater Appleton area to reach out?
So again, we allow anyone on the gender spectrum. So anyone can call, or they can just walk in.
Okay.
They just walk in and ask to be seen, ask to speak with someone. Not everyone has transportation, so if they just want to call, we have a 24/7 hotline or helpline.
Awesome.
So they can definitely call. And
Hey, what's the number?
Go ahead.
Our Harbor House crisis line is 920-832-1667.
And I'm going to repeat that just in case you couldn't hear it. Their crisis hotline for any person that's in the Appleton area going through some struggles and needs some help and needs it in a hurry, it sounds like, is 920-832-1667. And if they're going through a really hard time, is it possible they can find shelter? Because I know staying warm, especially at this time of the year, especially if you have little ones, is probably paramount to almost anything. Is it possible they could find a place as soon as tonight, or is it something you got to book ahead of time?
So we don't guarantee ahead of time. They would have to walk in.
Yes.
Just because imagine everyone calling and say, oh, I'm going to be there in 20 minutes, and we hold space, and we get a flood of people, and we're holding something, well, we could help that individual. If we're full, we'll do everything we can to find them another resource. It fluctuates day to day. But if we are full, again, we're going to see if we can make some space, or we will do our best to find them resources. If they have a vehicle, we've sent people with blankets and pillows and anything we can to help them stay warm if that's an absolute necessity. We really try to do anything we can. That's one of I think the hardest parts of our job is when we can't allow someone to come in or we're at capacity. Many of us, it just breaks our heart to have to turn someone away for any of those reasons, or even someone who's struggling with sobriety or alcoholism. It's very hard for us to have to turn someone away, but it is to keep everyone in shelter safe. And also, we do get food from the food pantry, and as anyone knows, everything only can go so far. So we do what we can to help everyone, but we do have some things we have to adhere to, but it's so hard when we can't help everyone. It is heartbreaking.
So you brought up an interesting point that I'm glad you did. Do you serve food there, or hot food, or whatever you have, or are they 3 meals, or how's it look? If I'm somebody really needing help right now, how's it look when they get in?
So, do you want to answer that?
Well, I would just mention that when I was standing in line today to get my cup of coffee.
And again, if you don't mind just talking loud,
sure.
just in case they can't hear.
Yeah. Again, being new, I was just really impressed with the Fox Valley area and the amount of warmth and outpouring and giving that Fox Valley has. And when I was standing in line here, I just met a gentleman who actually volunteers for Feeding America.
Okay.
And they are one of our largest contributors to food and help support people in our shelter.
Awesome.
Every single day. And I was so happy to just meet him from Feeding America.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
And again, I want to second what she says. This area does seem to come together as a community and help those hopefully in need. I mentioned that I was going to be doing this to a couple ladies I'd met in the coffee shop, and both of them were familiar with Harbor House, and both actually knew the founder as
Tracy
well.
Plowman.
Tracy Plowman, who started in 1984.
No, she's been there for 20 years.
Okay.
Yep. So she's been there. She started as an advocate and just continued to grow. She went to community education. I mean, she's done several of the positions, so she knows quite a bit about all of the roles and where we want to go now. But back to your food question. So again, with Feeding America, we also get donations from St. Joe's Food Pantry. And we do want to normalize, regular living for all of our clients. And so they get to make their own meals. So we have a family kitchen,
Wow.
and then we have a singles kitchen. And so they go in, we've provided them with all the cooking materials, spices, oils, all of that. And then through our communities, they provide us with food.
Okay.
And so they can make their own meals, and we do help with dietary restrictions or special needs. We will try to get some things for that. But they get to make their own meals, and it just gives them sometimes that sense of pride. And we also want them to leave us and still be able to normalize making their own items and their own meals. So we do help if they don't know how to cook. I'm one that probably doesn't know how to cook, right? And I use my air fryer. But again, we'll help them if they need help. But we want them to be able to make their own meals.
Okay. Well, great. It seems like, again, I don't mean to. You might have already answered this, but it seems like a place where if you're really in trouble, you can go and possibly get some immediate help, which I think is great. is there a limit to how long anybody can stay? And I'm sure you don't want to kick anybody out onto the street, but is there a 7-day limit? Is it an overnight 1-day limit? A month limit? Do you have is there a clear plan? And again, I don't mean to imply that there's not, but is there a plan to help people along and get back on their feet?
Well, we know everybody's situation is individualized, so that's a really hard question to answer. Each person might have a different barrier, so depending on what their barriers are, it really is person by person. Our goal is to really look at that 30 days, and then beyond that, another 30 days. But our goal is to really kind of get them out and get them back to normal living as soon as possible. But we do understand that there are barriers, right?
Yeah.
There could be cultural barriers, there could be financial barriers, there could be some ableisms. There's just different things that can really not allow someone to leave as quickly as they would like to even. So it really is individualized, and we work with each person separately based on their circumstance.
Again, not to bring it back to this, but I'm looking at the building. It looks like a bigger facility than I anticipated. Are you mostly volunteer-based help, or do you have employees that work there, or how does it work?
So we roughly have about 34 employees.
Okay.
That includes our full-time and part-time staff.
Okay.
We have a volunteer base of like 160 to 175. So we're so grateful for our volunteers. We couldn't do what we do every day without our volunteers. They do a lot of work for us, from sorting donations, sorting food, helping put things away, cleaning, helping in the call center. Really, we couldn't survive without our volunteers. So we really appreciate them. And with having a somewhat of a smaller staff, we are all very close and really help each other and support each other where we can. So, yeah.
If I'm sitting at home and watching this video right now and counting my blessings at this time of the year, how can somebody help? I see there's a Giving Tuesday. I don't know if you're going to be able to do that, but is there a website, a best way to help, whether it's volunteering or contributing money, or what's the best way if I'm sitting at home and I want to help that I can?
Sure. You can go to our website. We're always looking for different volunteers. We have a lot of opportunity available, so you can check our list there. We also have a gift list for our Santa's Workshop, where we're accepting donations on our website. People can stop by. I think it's next week. You can check our website for that. And we're accepting new gifts that volunteers then put into Santa's Workshop, and parents can shop and pick items to gift to their children. You can go to our website. It's harborhousewi.org.
Again, that's Harbor House, harborhousewi.org. If you'd like to make a donation, whether it be, I'm sure you accept cash somewhere on there?
Yes.
Yeah,
they can donate. Yep.
They accept cash or gifts. Out of curiosity, you mentioned there's a 68 bed capacity. What percentage of those 68 are kids or children of people needing help?
A lot of times we see where it's a higher amount of children than adults.
Okay.
Sometimes we can see like 34 to 30 adults, right? So it does vary, but oftentimes we see more children than we do adults.
So if I had to totally ballpark saying it's 50-50 would be a good, I know you don't want to
Yeah.
throw out a number, but I tend to ballpark a lot. So,
Yeah.
So there is a large population of kids that really could use a little holiday spirit at this time of the year. And again, they have a gift list and they have a website, and I've given you the phone number. If there's anybody out there really needing help, again, it does sound like if you're really in a bad spot and you don't even have transportation, I don't know if I'm inferring or you implied that you have the ability to go get people.
We don't do transportation.
Okay.
But if it is a very severe situation, we have called the local police departments
Okay.
to see where they can step in and
Okay.
possibly help. Or we do encourage individuals to call their local police station or police department because they will help when they're able, because no one wants to allow someone to be in danger, right?
Yeah. And again, I see, we live in a beautiful city and a beautiful country, and I think a lot of us realize there are people going through challenges. And when I'm walking through our town, I see people going through challenges. So if you are struggling, you are a victim of domestic or sexual violence, right? And you're in trouble today, I'd encourage you to call Harbor House. And again, I'll say the number 920-832-1667. And if you're sitting at home and you're counting your blessings and you feel extra fortunate or have something to give, be it money, gifts, or time, I'd encourage you to go to harborhousewi.org. That's harborhousewi.org, and volunteer, make a donation, give a gift for a kid that probably really needs it this time of year. Curious, you said you have are you currently hiring?
We aren't actually. I think
I know a lot of
always
people are
looking
struggling.
We're always looking for part-time staff.
Yeah.
That's always something, especially for a crisis center. We always want to have those positions filled, but always check back. We always want to be fully staffed, but we like people to volunteer, and we've had plenty of volunteers transition into employees as well.
Okay,
Yep.
awesome. Any last thoughts? Again, you've been here a month and a half. Your overall experience, I think I get a warrant from you that feels really good doing what you're doing. Am I reading you correctly?
I really love Harbor House. I really love the area.
Okay.
I appreciate meeting you here today too.
Okay, well, thank you.
And I appreciate doing our coffee talks.
Yeah.
All of it. Yes.
Jen, any last thoughts from you? Any thoughts of going into the holidays about Harbor House or life in general?
Yeah, if someone comes to you in regards to domestic or sexual violence, please believe them, right? Don't judge them. Really believe them. Point them to someone who can help. And educate yourself. A lot of times we don't know what really happens with domestic or sexual violence, and we really need to understand the dynamics. It's very complicated. So please educate yourself. If you are looking for information, you can also visit our website for information. We have a lot of resources for education as well. And we love to come out into the community and educate too. So please know that we're willing to do that for free as well.
Okay. Well, ladies, it was a real pleasure meeting you.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Again, it was just a coincidence.
Yes.
We're at the Copper Rock Coffee Shop, and they had this stand set up. And I thought I would share their story, and I appreciate you sharing with me and spending a half hour talking on my show. And for anybody watching live or that sees this taped, again, sounds like a great, great cause. People need help year round, but especially as the thermometer temperature drops and the holidays are rolling up, it really hits home when you think about people that are struggling. So if you have the ability, please, harborhousewisconsin.org. You can volunteer, you can donate gifts, you can donate cash, and I'm sure you could make some kids out there that really need a helping hand have a more happy holiday season. So I want to thank you so much for joining. I hope you have a wonderful day. You are feeling good. You are loving yourself. You are forgiving yourself. And as always, I hope to talk to you soon.